Today we're going to talk about analyzing Steve Perry. We'll talk all about that coming right up. Stay tuned, everybody.
Three, two, one.
Hello, everybody. It's Gary Stuckey. Welcome back to another episode of Steve Perry News. Are you still excited about that interview with Steve and Dan Rather? The big interview. It was so cool, right? I told you about it in my last video. Go check that out. I want to talk to you today about, analyzing Steve Perry, right? And who am I to do that, right? I'm no doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist or a therapist or anything like that, but I just want to tell you some things I noticed, with Steve, with all the things he mentioned in that interview and all the trials he's been through, his parents' divorce. That was one of the things that occurred in his life that really affected him, but he always said he was invisible. He felt invisible, so he would adapt a certain way to this being invisible. And of course, I think somewhere subconsciously that made him strive harder to be noticed, and he did a good job of being noticed. And he was in Journey, and then of course his solo career, being noticed, the best vocalist ever in my opinion. Hard to argue with that, but to strive harder because you weren't noticed. A lot of actors and actresses, entertainers in school, they were the nerds, or they were the outcasts, or the quiet ones, the shy ones that nobody paid attention to, and sometimes that makes them strive harder. But in Steve Perry's case, his invisibility, I think, did, lead to that, but he did strive harder to be noticed, and he did get noticed one day by Herbie Herbert, and then Journey, and the rest is history, but when he got tired of all that, of being noticed, in addition to, he had vocal, burnout, you have to sing every night at that range, and you have to keep up with that. It gets old after a while. And there's some other things he mentioned about the alcohol and abuse and things like that, but life just gets chaotic, so he went from being invisible to all that. So he got tired of all that. So that's why he got on his motorcycle and just kind of rode off into the sunset. Well, fast forward to Kelly, and I think Kelly brought him back to where his heart's at. She was a very smart lady and a doctor, and of course she knew a lot of things and opened up his eyes to some things. And besides that promise, he realized that he wants to be heard. I think that's been his whole thing this whole time. He wants to be heard, and he likes to be open, and here lately he's been doing that and talking to people and being honest with people and tell them. And what he wants people to do is hear his music. And he got choked up, if you notice, like I said before, on that interview with Dan Rather. He was talking about We're Still Here. He said he doesn't care if you buy the album. He just wants you to listen to it. He just wants you to hear it. And I think he wants you to understand what he's been through in the album and to enjoy that. I think that's his whole goal. And I think as he was speaking to Dan, in America and the world was like realizing that he's been through some of the stuff we've been through. And Steve, he's human like we are, And so we relate, and we realize, as Steve has said before, we're all still here. And like his video with the homeless guy, we're on this plane, this level plane. We're all the same. We've all been hurt, right? But we're understanding, though, that a lot of people are going through the same things. We need to reach out to each other and kind of talk about that and be open and honest and help each other out. And I think that's what Steve did in this interview. And I think that's what the song We're Still Here is all about. That's just my analysis. Tell me what you think about it. How has Steve affected you in your life with his music? I think that's therapy in itself. So let me know about that. Hey, this is Gary Stuckey. Don't stop believing, everybody. God bless you.